Create, not complain.
Universal with another one. You already know.
A lot of times we spend a lot of our time complaining about the issue. Complain, murmuring about the issue, instead of using our creativity to deal with the issue. A lot of times you find that this happens in like jobs and organizations a lot of times too, that when you come across certain things, people are more apt to want to complain about a matter rather than create a situation that can rectify the matter. So there's a boss that it's a boss that came in all the time and would say to people, I don't want to hear why it won't work. I want to hear why it will work. And one of the things that particular supervisor, boss, whatever was doing was unlocking the creative mind instead of the complaining mind. It was like, I don't want to hear about you. You can probably take this whole meeting up with complaining and with reasons why it won't work. When I do training, especially when I do a refresher for seasoned staff that's been there for a while, if I'm not careful as a trainer, I can let my whole training be consumed by complaining, right? Instead of creativity to fix things and what we can do better. So even in your life, I just want to bring this to you personal. And always think about a creative mind. This is why you have to be careful nowadays, even with your kids and what's going on in society, because there's a goal to put your mind to sleep. So everything is so convenient for us. Siri, this and that. So it's something to be said about convenience, but you got to be careful that convenience don't take away creativity, because then you don't want to think. So when y'all say these kids don't want to do things no more, they don't want to accomplish nothing, or they lazy and all that, what you're seeing is that their minds has been put to sleep, right? So by things like games and all this stuff that they play, and then us as parents contributing to the part where how we make things so easy for them and so convenient for them that we're putting their ability to use their minds to sleep as well. And so that's what's happening with all of this AI systems and robots, is to make you become mindless. So you have to be mindful to make sure in your personal life, before you become a robot and just want to complain that way, you know what I mean? Use your mind to become creative. Always go into a situation figuring out how it can work. What can we do differently? How can we adjust, right? We got to work to alleviate that feel-good matter when something goes awry, that we come in and all we want to do is precipitate on want to win awry and spend a lot of time and our energy into, well, if they would have did this, if they would have did that, if this would have happened, if that would have happened, my mother didn't leave, my father didn't, if I wasn't this and I wasn't that, this one, see, you don't understand, and like you just carry that coat around on you, right? And so in your life, always looking at situations where you can be creative in the matter to make it work. Especially in your relationship with your mate. Like, instead of y'all going at it, boom, bumping heads all the time about the matter, always go into like how we can be creative to make it work for all parties involved. Instead of who can be right or who can be wrong, it's how can we be creative, right? Because the first thing, issue arrive, bang heads. And then when you bang heads, you're damaging the relationship in the process. Because sometimes things are done and said in the midst of it could be repairable, but sometimes in people's minds, it's like irreparable. And they carry that with them and they carry that scars. So rather than do that, won't you take a step back and always evaluate to say, okay, that has happened. All right, you feel this way. All right, now how can we be creative? How in my life where now my car broke down, instead of me moaning and complaining and blaming everybody, and when I helped this one, they wouldn't do this and they wouldn't do that. No, how can I be creative? What can I do as a result of needing to do this, needing to pick up the kids, needing to still do this and get things done? Like, because you're doing it all the time anyway. But imagine if you stay ahead of it instead of just, being creative when you have no other choice in the matter, and then creative juices start flowing. Because people say, I had no choice. I had to do what I had to do. All that means was I had to get creative. They did have a choice in the matter, but they probably complained so much in the matter that it got to a point where it got so deep that they had no choice but to unlock the creativity of your brain in order to survive or to come out that situation. So for us, let's just work to do a little bit more diligently on the proactive side of the matter, where we do more of creative thinking and solutions to get things done rather than complain about them. Like I remember being in school, and I remember the theory that I gravitated to the most was solution-focused therapy. That was one of the theories I gravitated to right away. All that other stuff is nice. The cognitive behavior and all of that stuff was nice, all these different theories. But I like solution-focused theory. Because I felt like right away, let's not talk about the pathology of the problem. Let's not continue to complain about the problem. Let's go into how we can fix the problem. Make sure you check me out on thewayoutsevin.com. So I do life coaching. We're not going to sit and talk about the problem. We're going to acknowledge that our problem is there. And then we're going to come up with creative ways to address the problem and get going. Because that's what it's all about. And if you have some issues that you're dealing with that might be holding you back and slowing you down, or might be a mental block, we can address them. All right. We can deal with them from a solution focused theory of what may be a blockage for you that may happen in your past, and we need to get past and get over and move forward. But we're not going to stay stuck on that. We're not going to go through the long line list of things, of the pathology of all the things that took place to you by other peoples and all the parties involved, and you got to go do this and forgive and address this one. No, we're going to say that's there. What can we do to acknowledge it? If some of those tactics and strategies are needed, yes, we will. But we're going to move forward and be creative and how to get things moving forward rather than staying stuck. Okay? So we don't need to be always complaining. We need to be creating. That's the winners. People who be creating. Right? That's why I say go in the lab. Anything that it takes to be successful, they went in the lab and they created. So creativity is our key to unlocking a lot of things that we want and not complaining.